Hi, I'm Eamonn O'Brien and I'm the founder of the Reluctant Speakers Club. And you're so welcome to our expert series, and I'm delighted today to be joined all the way from America by one of my favorite video experts. It is Steven Washer.
Thank you for asking me.
And we're talking today about one of my pet topics. You know, I work with so many executives who have to get past a fear of speaking to folks on a one-to-many basis. But the idea of actually speaking to a camera is, if not as daunting, maybe more daunting. And part and parcel of that, of course, is that you still need to get the right kind of connection with your audience. And I know that's something you're very hot on, Steven. What is it that you think it takes to be a more authentic speaker to camera?
Well, first of all, I think we have to deal with that word authentic. It's a very, very loaded word. And I think that people, I know that people mean well when they use that word. They're very authentic in their use of that word. But the problem is that I think that it puts a burden on people. It makes them think that somehow they're not being real, they're not being themselves if they're thinking about the technology that's in front of them and how to interact with that technology. And the fact is that we live in a society where technology is part and parcel of everything we do on a daily basis. Some of it we can deal with without even thinking about it, like driving our cars or operating a toaster. And some of it we have a good deal of difficulty with, like how to operate the controls in Google Hangouts or how to, how to make a video or how to edit a video or something like that. Something I'm familiar with a lot of people that I teach video production and marketing. And getting in front of the camera and being authentic, quote unquote, is one of the most challenging things for a lot of people, just because there is that almost a split personality when it comes to this.
Well, you're exactly right, and I wonder if you'd speak to one of the great fears that so many of our clients would have. You put them in front of a camera and all of a sudden they feel like they have to be a bit of an actor. How do you address that? Because you're quite right, you don't want people to feel like they have to be somebody else. In fact, that's the worst thing they should do.
So here's the thing there's a simple way and there's a real way. So I can tell you the simple answer. The simple answer is just have 10 times more energy than you would have in real life.
Yes.
Now, do you want to hear the real answer?
Sure.
The real answer is that we all play roles in life every day, all day long, without even realizing it. The difference between doing this in real life and doing it on camera is something called awareness. When you're on camera, you have to be more aware than you are in real life. I mean, this is a hard thing for some people to hear, but most of us go through life sleepwalking. We say things that other people think, thinking that they're our own thoughts, and we react out of roles that we learned a long time ago that we've never been able to bust out of. And when we get on camera, then we know instinctively that that's not really us. And so we think, well, I better do something better. And you can do something better. You can observe your best self and bring that to the camera. And what I mean is, have 10 times more energy, because most people don't understand that little lens that we're looking at right now sucks all the energy out of whatever you do. And so you have to throw more energy at it. It's almost like there's a filter in the lens. It's an energy filter that's only 50% efficient at best. So if I was to be with you right now, like I might talk with you in real life, it might go something like this. Hey, Eamon, yeah. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Sure, let's talk about energy, because I think energy is really important, don't you? And that's all I would need, because
Yes.
I would have you sitting in front of me, nodding, smiling, contributing, and I could tell that you're listening.
Like this, absolutely. Yeah.
But in the camera, there's nobody there. There is somebody there, but they're just not going to hear it for a little while. So you have to get that energy out there and add their energy to your energy so that there's enough right here and now when you're in front of the camera. And that's
Yes,
the only way that it actually works. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
so getting back to what you were saying about the roles, we don't want to be someone that we're not. Well, you're not going to do that. However, because you play so many different roles during the day, pick a role that you especially like, that makes you feel powerful, that makes you feel like your best self, and yeah, be that role. Now, I have to tell you, I really thought long and hard about whether I was going to say this in an introductory talk, and I figured, well, I might as well tell the truth. Um, because I think people would prefer to hear the truth. And I don't mean be an actor. I mean just be your very best self, your very best role that you play in life. Does that make sense?
It makes a ton of sense. In fact, one of the things I really enjoyed from one of your many programs that I've worked with is this idea of deciding what is the primary value that you want to give people. So especially for business videos where we want to share something that people find valuable, if that's the idea that you have in your head, you're going to sound a lot more like you mean it, which is really, really important for emotional connection.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. If you don't have the passion and the enthusiasm for your topic, if you don't have that drive to share something special with the world, then you might as well not even get on video. And by the way, even if you do have that passion and that drive, if you're not feeling it that day, then don't get on video. If you can't muster up the enthusiasm or muster up the energy, then it would be better for you not to do it. I learned this the hard way. I made a sales video one time for a big program, and and I had a choice. I could do the sales video that day, or I could wait until I felt better. And I didn't know if I was going to feel better, and so I did it, and it was a disaster. I have to tell you, because of my head was not in the right place, and I couldn't muster up enough energy to overcome my whatever funk I was going through at the time. So I'm telling you this as someone who has experienced it for themselves. What you bring, your emotional component, spiritual, whatever you're bringing to that camera, it absolutely sucks it all up. It feels it, it senses it, and if it's not right, it reflects it. Well, whatever it is, it reflects it right back at you.
You know it because, of course, what the camera really sees, and it really looks into your heart and your soul through your eyes. So if the energy isn't there in your eyes, if it's not there in your face, it's going to be pretty darned obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of things being obvious and really getting to the point where you have a better emotional connection, one of the things that I talk a lot about is the importance of having story, because it's somewhere where pretty much everybody feels more home. They feel like it's something that they enjoy immensely, and they'll tend to kind of share that with their audience as they do. And so tell me, when it comes to storytelling and choosing the right kinds of stories that will be more engaging for video, business video, what are your top 2 or 3 tips that you think might make a difference?
Well, first of all, the story has to match whatever the purpose of that video is. And however, there are certain themes that work, for anybody almost any time. And one of my favorites is the reluctant hero story. Now, we happen to be living in an age where connection is more important even than accomplishment. And I think that's why, at this time, this is the way video, I think, is best used. So any story that helps you make a connection with someone, that makes them feel that, that we have all been through the same, kind of mess, and here's a person who has come out on the other side, I think is very helpful. But I think the reluctant hero is probably one of the best stories that we can tell right now, because everyone approaches a video or a book or a sales program or something with a good deal of skepticism. And in order to help people understand that you understand their skepticism, this is telling a story of the reluctant hero puts them in your shoes and puts you in their shoes. In other words, you were just as skeptical as they were. And so you tell the story of how you started from a skeptical place, and how you learned along the way, and how you came to understand that whatever this thing is that you're an advocate of now is the real deal.
Well, I think you're exactly right, Stephen, because of course the most important thing with the story is that something needs to have happened and that you've learned something from it. And so the reluctant story is fabulous because you've encountered a problem. Maybe it's the first time you tried to do something, could be the 15th time you tried to do something. You had a bash at something, there were consequences, you reacted. So something has to happen for the story to be more interesting and more engaging. And when it comes to presenting that, of course, the difference is I'm now looking at a camera instead of looking out at an audience. So I can't see people reacting to me as I tell you what happened and wasn't it dreadful and ooh, you can't believe what happened next. So in terms of making that video more interesting and more engaging, how do you help people to get that warmth, to get that excitement over on camera?
So some of this is in script writing. Anytime I do anything for the camera, I probably spend 70% of the time on the script, and the rest of the time in actually making the video and editing the video and getting the video up and doing the emails and all that stuff. And the reason for that is, well, there's a couple of reasons. One is that I don't want to waste people's time, so I want to be as compact as I can. But the other reason is that because I'm talking to a lens and because I don't have that response from people out there, I want to paint myself a picture. And so when I paint myself a picture using the right words, then when I'm talking to the camera, I'm literally reliving the story myself. And then I can make an emotional connection to it, and then I can infect you with that same emotion with which I am working myself.
I love that idea of seeing pictures because that's exactly how we remember stories, and it's the best way in which to tell them. So we're kind of wrapping up because this is a relatively short introductory video to just the art and science of making more engaging business video. If you were to think about all the things that you've learned over the gazillion years now, not gazillion, I don't want to that you've been involved in making videos, what are the three things that you've learned over the years that you wish you knew at the outset?
Number one, how important it was to be making videos early on.
Yes.
Believe it or not, the first product that I ever created, my book, The Video Brain, I didn't sell it with video because I was I was reluctant to get on camera. I'd been making videos for other people for years. I wouldn't get on video. So that's number one, would be getting on video itself. Number two, I guess, learning about some of the strategies that are available now for using video that I didn't really understand early on. And number three, making the company itself video-centric. And I say this not as a person who has a video company, but as anybody who has a company that has a message of some kind. I think it needs to be video-centric because it's the only way that people can get a 3D, full-blooded, full-on picture of your company and the importance of your message and the depth of your message. And I think sometimes marketing itself is such a superficial activity because we have to reach people in a symptomatic way, not in a sort of curing disease way. Nobody wants to cure the disease, they just want to relieve the symptoms. So marketing has to reach out to those symptoms.
And I love that you say that, Stephen, because you're quite right. I think that one of the things that video really does is it lets people see with their eyes what you mean and what you think, and of course that injects more trust. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us here today, Stephen. Really appreciate it. And so we will be sharing this, of course, with the world and his wife. And I'm Eamonn O'Brien, and I'm the founder of the Reluctant Speakers Club, and you have been listening to our expert series. And if you have any questions or if you have any comments, please share them with him. We are always delighted to hear. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you the next time.